Years ago, I stood on the shores of Gallipoli as the sun set across the Aegean, and as the red dusk fell over the cliffs that surround ANZAC Cove, I walked among the graves of the men who died fighting there 100 years before. Except for a few unknown soldiers, every one of these graves had on its epitaph the name of the man that it honoured. Every one of these graves had the age of that man as he had fought on campaign. Every one of these graves had the date that man had died fighting in the field of war. I noticed, however, that on some graves there was a personal message commemorating the man, and on other graves, there wasn't. When those graves were established after 4 years of war, and 65,000 of our men fallen dead, the government of our exhausted nation did not have the resources to write a personal message for every single soldier. So grieving families had scraped together whatever money and words they could to try to remember those loved ones they had waved off before the war. Those they would never see or speak to again. Although each of those messages was heartbreaking in its own way, and even just the names were enough to put a lump in your throat, there was one in particular that affected me deeply. It wasn't like the others. It didn't try to describe the man, so you felt like you knew him. It didn't talk about the loved ones he'd left behind, or the achievements he'd had in life. It was only a few words, but ones that I'll never forget. It said simply, "My only darling son." I've since forgotten the name, but that message told me everything I needed to know about that man. It told me everything I needed to know about the tens of thousands who lay dead there at ANZAC Cove, up the cliffs in Lone Pine, and at the Neck. It told me those men were loved. It told me they had lives of their own, and they were as real as any one of us who breathes today. It told me they didn't want to die. But they did. That means, whether the war was worth it or not, those men gave their lives for their country. And that means, for those of us who are Australian, that whether we are worth it or not, they gave their lives for us.